Hello, good morning. I hope that everybody is well. Yesterday, Traditional Stitches released the sampler Anne Morrison to celebrate their 20th anniversary as a store. And 20 years, it's a wonderful achievement for a store. And Sandra and I have been customers of Traditional Stitches for many, many years, and it was such an honour to be asked to reproduce the sampler so that they could use that sampler as a celebration of this milestone anniversary. And there's going to be a stitch along, a year-long stitch along for the beautiful Anne Morrison. Now here she is. She is a Scottish sampler, and she is delightful, absolutely delightful. Now this sampler is worked with cross stitch over 2 threads, running stitch and Algerian eyelets, so it's very suitable for stitching on Ada, Linada or Ada, and for needleworkers of all abilities. There's something so special about Scottish samplers. Scotland has this wonderful rich heritage, and I think that it really does show in the samplers that we see stitched by Scottish girls. It's very, very pretty, this sampler. Now we stitch the model on jersey cream, which is made by Legacy Linen, and we used Soie 103 from Overa Soie. The booklet has a conversion for Soie d'Alger and for DMC. Now Traditional Stitches are providing as an anniversary gift to their customers a 15% discount if you purchase all 3 parts, which would be the chart, the linen and the threads, by the ship date of August 31st. You can just buy the chart from them, or you can add linen and or Linada or Ada and the silks to your purchase. But Traditional Stitches is the only outlet for the booklet. You can't buy the booklet from us. This is an exclusive design for 1 year for Traditional Stitches. And the booklet that we have produced is a special edition which celebrates the stitch along. What else can I tell you? So there was 13 different colours in the sampler, and the stitches are cross stitch over 2 threads, Algerian eyelet and double running stitch. The stitch count is 164 stitches by 238 stitches, so it's a really lovely size. If you stitch the sampler on 28 count linen, which is 14 count Ada, it will measure 11.71 inches by 17 inches. If you stitched the design on 36 count linen, which is 18 count Ada, it would be 9.11 inches by 13.22. Or if you stitched her on 46 count linen, which is what our model stitcher used, she will be 7.13 by 10.35. Now the sampler was stitched by Angela Bulbeck, and Angela is a Canadian, and I wanted this sampler to be stitched by somebody in Canada because it's a Canadian release. Now Angela said that Anne was her 3rd model for hats, and she was very thrilled and honoured to be asked to stitch the model for the stitch along for the 20th anniversary of Traditional Stitches. She says that even though she has never been to the store in person, because it's over 5 hours from where she lives, it is her closest needlework store, and I've always considered it to be my local needlework store. She goes on to say, I am so happy I'm able to be part of Janice's anniversary celebration. Anne was very different from my other 2 models. It was fun to explore a Scottish-style sampler, as it is part of my own heritage. My grandpa's mum came to Canada from Scotland. I saw my grandpa every day from the time I was a little girl until I left home for university. I feel like Anne helped bring me closer to my own family history. And this was Angela's first time using 103 silk, and she says that she really loves that silk. And she goes on to say, I like having the spools that you can just cut off a length and stitch. It is so convenient not to have to separate the strands. It was my first time using 46 count linen, and it was actually very easy to adjust to. After a few days, I didn't even need magnification besides my readers. It has been a huge change from my usual 28 count previously, and I really like using 40 and 46 count linen. Anne was part of Angela's needlework journey. We're so pleased and thrilled to show you this sampler and to be part of this milestone for traditional stitches. And the stitch along is going to be great fun. The ladies who joined the Jane Fiddy Stitch Along are all enjoying the process of sharing their journey with Jane, with a group of like-minded people. And it's going to be the same for Anne. She really is a delightful sampler that's going to look beautiful on your sampler wall, or even if you have a sampler wall for Scottish samplers as well. Now, the stitch along is going to be led by Rose Heck, who is a long-time customer of traditional stitches and a very prolific stitcher. The group on Facebook is called Anne Morison Stitch Along, so please have a look for the group and apply to join, and Janice will accept your request. Rose has divided the sampler up into 12 different blocks, and she aims to stitch 1 block per month. But again, as with the Jane Fiddy Stitch Along, everybody is free to work at their own pace. You can sit down and stitch the sampler quickly as your only project, or you can put Anne into rotation and just work on her at your own pace, or you can stick to the monthly blocks. It's very, very much up to you. Now, because we always like to have a little bit of fun with stitch-alongs, there is going to be a draw at the end of the stitch-along. Now, the stitch-along begins on Saturday, October the 3rd this year, so that everybody has plenty of time to gather their supplies. So the draw will take place in October 2021. So everybody who participates in the stitch along, shares their progress and finishes Anne Morison in the 12 months, will be entered into a draw for a Scottish sampler. And this sampler was stitched by a young girl called Eliza Nisbet in 1839, and Eliza recorded that it was the 23rd of January, and she's recorded Edding, which I am sure is short for Edinburgh. Now, this sampler is behind glass, and it is difficult to see the sampler with the glass on the front, but she is in excellent condition. Really, really lovely condition, and it's such a traditional Scottish sampler. I haven't reproduced the sampler yet, but I will be charting this sampler for Hands Across the Sea samplers, and the stitches that I've seen in her so far are cross stitch over 2 and 4-sided stitch. There are some delightful dividing bands between the samplers, which look great fun to chart and to stitch. And there's only 2 colours used, which is so traditional of these schoolgirl alphabet samplers. Now, somebody has to win this sampler, and it's a very worthy sampler. So that person could be you if you participate in the stitch along and stitch Anne Morrison. Let's have one more little look at this sampler. The drooping carnation is so traditional of Scottish girls, schoolgirl samplers, and those trees which I believe represent fir trees, and there are huge forests of fir trees throughout Scotland. The little hearts are delightful, and then this magnificent heart stitched in Algerian eyelets. And I love the 2-tone alphabets. I think that's really very, very pretty. And her colours are gorgeous. She didn't put a bar across her A, and I have seen that before. Anyway, pop along to Traditional Stitches website and you can find out more about Anne and purchasing her. Now, because Canada is the only place that you can get the booklet from, what we've done, I've agreed with Janice so that European and British needleworkers, if you order the chart in Canada, it will be shipped from the UK, and of course that means that shipping costs for the booklet are a lot lower for you than if it was being sent from Canada. So when you go on to Anne's page on the Traditional Stitches website, there is a lot of information, so read right the way through so that you find out about the special shipping rates for UK and the rest of Europe. I want to say thank you to Janice for giving us the honour of reproducing the sampler to celebrate their 20th anniversary. It's such an achievement for Janice, and it just speaks volumes of the customer service that the store has provided over many, many years. Okay, I'm going to go and enjoy the day. Our grandchildren are visiting with us this week, so it's buckets and spades on the beach for me today. Until the next time, please stay safe and well. Bye-bye.